afternoon, everyone. Good evening, rather, sorry.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Welcome to the DeBrief show. Sorry for the late start again. We just was getting ourselves together. Right. But nevertheless, we are here. As usual, give us a couple seconds or rather minutes to share it with our followers that are waiting. If you have any technical difficulties, do let us know so we can address any and all technical difficulties. But we are happy to be here with you
Yes, definitely.
and to discuss any and all things as relates to the discussion. And we have a guest today in studio, so that is good. We will introduce our guest shortly after we share it with about a few people that are waiting for us to share. Right? So if you can as well, we encourage you to take the time out to share with those who may be waiting to watch us. We are happy for every opportunity to share the discussion and to talk with you. Again, if you have or if you have any glitches that you think that we can't hear or we can improve on,
True.
we would be more than happy to adjust those particulars. Yeah?
Yep.
But also at this time, before we start, I would definitely like to take the opportunity to pay our condolences to the gentleman from the media house and the other gentleman from Griffith and the gentleman from A&B Pest Control. Our condolences to you, your family, the media fraternity, and all of those surrounding, and we really want to pay that in respect to them and pray that the family at this time would be strengthened from and God's blessing will be upon them in this time, because we know strength is what you need to get over situations and circumstances as these. But nevertheless, we pray for the family, as we say. Now, we are here again for another Tuesday discussion. We're here with Mr. Glen Stuart, who would be our specially invited guest and would be the one we are in discussion with. We have a new set. Apparently every week we got some new set to the other that we changing up. But we are trying to find the best fit to be able to have the show, and we are glad that we are able to have a set. I'll probably try some more things to just get you, the followers, knowing that we are just trying our best to bring you the best conversation in the best settings possible.
Correct.
So we just want to welcome all of you, and just to highlight again, my name is Kimar Safri, be your host, and you're here with the man is small, the man is say hi to the people. On my, I don't know which that would be left or right.
Yeah, left, your left,
Simon,
right.
Aline, and then we have Jermaine Beckford.
Good evening.
And as I said, we have a specially invited guest here to this event, Mr. Glen Stuart, who has about 20 years experience in the manufacturing industry, in both executive and managerial role. He's given advice to government, to NGOs, to a number of organizations around the in Barbados and the Caribbean. But we know our advice is never limited to just home alone, right? Even though that was a good movie. All four of them.
Yeah,
so, you know, we welcome him. We thank him for taking his time out to be here with us this event, and we're discussing manufacturing post-COVID. We'll let Mr. Sir introduce himself so you can get a picture of who he is, a picture of what he represents, and then we'll delve into all of the conversation. Now, we want to hear from you as it relates to what you think about manufacturing, what you think about what you think about it post-COVID. Where do you see the manufacturing industry? How do you see growing? And we want to have a robust conversation as it relates to manufacturing. Now, we're going to also ask that you share the link of the conversation that is going on here And let us have a discussion. We want to hear from you. If there's any technical difficulties, please let us know so we can try to adjust it while on set. But without further ado, I just want to thank Mr. Stuart for coming, and let's get into the conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron.
Yes, please.
So I'll start by introducing myself to the audience. Good evening to everyone watching. As Cameron said, my name is Glen Stuart, and I've been in the manufacturing sector for about 20 plus years, just over 20 years, in various capacities, engineering, operations, both in permanent roles and also in consultative roles. I've also assisted quite a few companies around the region with process improvements and so on. And I've also did quite a bit of research around how we improve the sector, the supply chain, from the supply chain angle, and also from the use of technology in manufacturing and so on. So I've done that for quite a number of years. I am an eternal optimist, and that's one of the angles you will hear from me today.
All right.
I believe, because of my engineering background, I believe that we can achieve, anything is possible as long as we have the willpower. And so that is, just setting up the context of that is where I'm coming from. I see COVID, for example, as a huge opportunity. Even amongst all of the negative things that we've seen that it has done, I believe that there are positive opportunities and takeaways for all economies and companies post-COVID.
Yes.
So that I'm setting up that as the context within which I'm framing us having the discussion. Should I get right into it?
Yeah.
So the first thing the most important thing at the moment is context. The first context. Let me also say that I am not here to represent any specific manufacturer, but to examine the sector as a whole. Some of the views I will express most of the views I express are based on my experiences and my training as well, which is both in the areas of engineering and in business. I have not done any extensive economic modeling. I don't pretend or project to be a student of deep economics. My ideas and points are simply based on the wider debate with the objective of looking for propositions that can assist the economy to improve the manufacturing sector. One of my biggest takeaways in all the engagements I've had over those years is the fact that the manufacturing sector's contribution to the economy has been relatively flat, or at least over the last 5 to 6 years. And I'll give some context to that by giving some numbers as well, in terms of what manufacturing means to the economy as it relates to the GDP and as it relates to the other sector, the other big sector, which is tourism. What does manufacturing bring to the economy versus tourism? And how can we improve it? How do we make manufacturing compete with tourism, if you will, or even do better than tourism, right? And so I'll get into that as well. And first thing I need to say though is that the manufacturing sector in Barbados is classified as light manufacturing. I must make that clear. And what do I mean by light manufacturing? We don't have the heavy industries like car manufacturing and steel plants and the big gun manufacturing. We don't have those, right? So that's why it's classified as light manufacturing. In the context of, as I said before, it's flat, or manufacturing contribution has been flat over the last 5 years. We know our big players, which are sugar, rum, cement, been giving us a bit of earnings, pharmaceuticals and so on. Those are our big ones, if you were. There are some small players that we're seeing good growth and so on. And the question is, how do we help or promote the big players improving the earnings, the foreign exchange earnings, and how do we then also allow some smaller players to join the big league, the local big league, if you were, in terms of volume and value. And I will explain a little more on what I mean volume and value, because a lot of times we focus a lot on getting companies to bring volume, but what Barbados is set up as a manufacturing economy should be focused on value creation and volume. Value, not volume, right? And I'll share it on
Before you go any farther, you could define for the audience what you consider as small, medium, and large manufacturing in Barbados. In
the context of Barbados, I am thinking like I'm separating them in the context of the earnings, in terms of the manufacturing earnings in the island, to say that any subsector. That I'm talking about the sectors, the subsectors. I'm saying all the any subsector that probably bringing in more than, let's take a number, let's say 10 million, between 10 and 10, say, let's use a number like $20 million a year.
That be large.
It's kind of large if you bring in at least 20. You're somewhere between large and medium, but anything under 20 million a year, you're really going on the smaller end.
Okay.
Right?
So
I'm kind of grouping them.
So you said below 20 million, you consider you to be small.
I would say, yeah, you're kind of teetering, yeah.
And then 20 million, so how much you would say is large? As
The biggest one is $80 million a year, so
I mean,
or $100 million a year.
But what would you consider as medium? Between 20 million to what figure?
All the way to people who are now innovating, if you were. You mean small?
Wait, no, you said on the 20 million.
20
is
to
small.
100 is large.
20 to 100 is large. So who would you consider as medium? A medium size?
Say between 20 and probably 10, between 20 and 10.
10 to 20.
10 and 20.
Between 10 and 20. Yeah.
So anything under 10 million is
I
small.
would say you're still, because you have room for growth.
Yes.
You can really, your vision is really the top end, bringing in $100 million a year.
Definitely.
Right.
I understand.
Right? That's your vision. Right? Now, I want to also, you see, we're talking about the numbers that are being reported.
Mhm.
So we're talking about numbers you would get from the central bank and the IEC and the statistical office and so on.
Yeah.
Now, why I'm being very careful there is because just like the tourism industry,
Mhm.
we have no visibility of foreign exchange earned that doesn't return.
Explain.
I'm saying that from the perspective that some of the earnings
Mhm.
from sale of manufactured products in Barbados
Yeah.
are not necessarily paid into local accounts, as far as I understand.
Okay.
Similar to the tourism industry,
Yeah.
you're in Miami and you're booking a holiday.
Mhm.
I have no visibility of how that is accounted for. I don't know. As I said before when we started, I do not have that level of insight into how the accounting systems work locally.
Okay.
For example, someone books a service or a product in Barbados, and that funds is held in an account of somewhere else. How is that repatriated? How and so on?
Well, I understand fully how it is done, but we must speak about that here now.
Right, but you get my point. My point is I'm making clear that I'm using the numbers
Yes.
as the numbers that are reported as official
Yeah,
numbers.
some companies, their accounting is done overseas and not
Yeah.
here.
Right.
For what I know, sometimes the company that I work with, we have to send invoices overseas.
Well, you be careful talking about you
I didn't say anything.
Well, before one question.
I just want to encourage the audience that we're discussing the whole manufacturing post-COVID and opportunities, and we want to hear from you as well. So if you have any insight, if you have any questions, please post them so that we can, so that Mr. Stuart here can answer them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, we just want to excuse that we had another Mr. Stuart here that was supposed to be here today, which is Keith Stewart, but he's not here. That's part of the team.
Sure, silent people.
You know.
I won't hear that talk later. I will not entertain
Go ahead,
that.
Mr. Stewart.
Right.
No,
yeah.
I was asking the question. I would like to tell the audience, with reference to the manufacturing industry in Barbados, where does it rank? So you have tourism here in one of our
Right.
You have offshore business.
Right.
So I want to know what ranking does manufacturing get?
So the first thing I would do there is to peg it to what most people know, which is people understand the whole bucket, what we call the GDP, the total,
Yeah.
and then people tend to more understand, or people place a lot of emphasis on what tourism brings.
Yeah.
Right? So in that context, manufacturing earnings is 5% of the GDP. Right? Tourism is 36%.
Well, so manufacturing is just a.
It's a very small, and that is why it presents itself. Don't see it in that light. See it as a huge opportunity. Remember my discussion with you. I don't usually my vantage point. I don't see risk.
You see.
I see opportunities.
Yes.
Right. I have a hurdle jumping orientation. I don't deal with when people talk about risk.
Mm-hmm.
I always look inherently inside of it for what is the opportunity. Right. So the point is that gap I just described between 36% and 5% is a huge opportunity for manufacturing to bring more to the table.
Definitely.
Right. The other point that I found when I looked at the statistics is not just necessarily what the two industries have done, say over the last reporting year, which is 2018 or so, that is available on the Central Bank website. But the other point that needs to be made is how have these two sectors, as you call it, these two sectors grown over the last 5 years?
Okay.
And when I looked at that, still tourism is the or big earner. with tourism having over that period, tourism showing a 30% increase from 2014 to now, while manufacturing was a meager 5%.
But
So,
what that also
so
have
manufacturing
to
has
do-
been flat.
But will that also have to do with more emphasis being placed on tourism, more investment being placed on
That's
tourism?
That is something I wanted to discuss as well, because when we talk about investment, if you mean at the governmental level,
Yeah.
maybe that is so. But if we're talking dollar for dollar investment, I don't have the data here to support the opinion I will give, but my view is that there is a lot of money tied up in manufacturing. In other words, to produce a product, it takes a lot of capital relative to someone leaving another island and deciding to come here to go on vacation.
Okay, but do you think that one of the reasons why manufacturing is at level is because, to be honest, to import into Barbados is expensive? Our taxes, and I know this
About the export.
because I import, and our taxes, we pay approximately, based upon the figure that I would work out, almost 41% on the lower end to bring anything into Barbados.
Yes, so it is a very valid point.
Sorry, that's without the levy.
That's the reason for
It is a very valid point, but let me also say there as well that manufacturers are given a lot of concessions on their raw materials.
Okay.
They don't pay certain duties and taxes on raw materials that can be proven. That would
That's
imported for the purpose of.
So
I'm not so sure about construction, but I'm speaking specifically, for example, to manufacturers for
So
things like
therefore-
cardboards and bottles and
Inputs.
labels and all the inputs.
I have a question for you. Do you think right now, we're in the middle of COVID now,
Right.
and we want to emerge from COVID.
Right.
But right about pre-COVID, right at that time and now versus going into a post-COVID environment,
Right.
do you think that there was a appetite amongst not the government but the local private sector to invest more in manufacturing activities in Barbados? Because remember, the government, I will be fair, governments over the years, BLP and BLP, have given the concessions and have tried to spur interest and try to get persons to really manufacture in Barbados, because governments have understood that if you manufacture in Barbados, we can more or less feed our own, we can do certain things for ourselves, and it
Right.
can bring certain economic benefits. But I find that the private sector has always been the one to say, gimme all the concessions they could get, and then when the government offered concessions, the private sector has sought to find ways to railroad these concessions and use that to bring in things in Barbados and make a higher, because they just want to be a buy and sell in the economy.
Yeah, that's a merchant.
That's all they want to do.
Merchant.
So so it's a good question, but I'm glad we have a teacher in the midst, because what I want to answer the question in this way.
Okay.
I've taught for a number of years. The first thing I learned is that if children start behaving incorrectly in my classroom, I take responsibility for it. The point I'm making is giving of concessions does not absolve one of responsibility for the growth of the sector. What I mean, it is also about the way you give those concessions.
Okay.
I will not give you anything unless I hold you accountable for returns.
Okay.
I should not give you anything unless I hold you accountable for returns. So it's not just about the concessions being given, it's about the way they're given, whether they're incentivized correctly. Because if I'm going to give you these concessions, you need to guarantee me that if I give you for every dollar I give you as a sector, that you are going to bring me back something.
Yeah, some kind of
But-
sense.
but
I don't want 5% growth in the manufacturing sector year on year, and I will give you that.
Glenn, before you go any further, there's a Barbados Manufacturers Association, which I believe was meet with the varying government departments around, but not budget estimates time every year.
Right.
Different ministers, they got Minister of Finance, they got Ministry of Commerce, the Minister of Innovation. So we got different ministers that would, I assume, would sit down and meet with these people and say, look, this is what the government has on offer, and we trying to negotiate the best possible deal for the sector.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So are you telling me that over the past 50 years, because, well, not 50, 51, right, that Barbados has been it's 54 actually. Over the past 54 years, that Barbados has been independent, and different private sector, different ministers of government have met with from different governments have met with the Barbies Manufacturing Association and other associations which are involved in manufacturing in this country, that they have not at any time
Would you say BMA is 54 years old?
No, but that's what it said. Not only BMA, but there's the Western Area Rum Spirits Producers. There are different manufacturing associations.
There are different associations.
Right. So the governments, when they're doing estimates, will meet with these people and say, listen, tell us how we can help you.
Yeah, but
and the government also put their cards on and say, oh.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, Jermaine, based on what when I did my reviews and during my experiences in the sector, what I would say to you is this: you are correct. They've had all of these stakeholder engagements and they've looked at it from all fancy angles and so on. The fundamental of it is this though, the earnings have still been flat. So I don't have to answer the question. I'm saying the numbers have spoken for themselves. The numbers are still flat. We have seen no significant growth across the sector. So that answers the question.
Is this a question also, what I find challenging at times, is that while we discuss all of these things about numbers, again, is this knowledge of the public? Because the public, in some instances, may think that the manufacturing industry is booming based on the fact that, we see it still, we may see a certain manufacturing company still in operation.
Right.
But not understanding that may be operating at a low
in survivability mode.
Or in the sense that this particular business is not even contributing at the level it should, or it can, even though it want to.
But you get that based upon the average person. Do you get that they think that manufacturing is booming in Barbados? I don't think the average person even understand manufacturing, because it's not it is not the everyday way of life for us. It is not in our face directly. We may sit in these chairs and all of this board table, but we don't understand
how this is made,
or if it is made home.
I don't know if you have the information, Glenn, but I would really like to know what is the top 3 manufacturing companies in Barbados. When I say companies are industry
in the sector, they break down the manufacturing sector.
For me, I would figure it is rum.
So rum is the number one. You're correct. So it's rum and beverages.
Okay.
Cement is usually up in there. Pharmaceuticals is up in there. So cement, pharmaceutical, rum, and I noticed also that something called
pharmaceuticals.
Pharmaceutical was up there. When I look at the ADC data, even more food. There's some food. There's food there as well. Yeah, food, pharmaceutical. There's printed materials, cement I mentioned. So those are the big buckets. It would be, as I said, pharmaceuticals, cement, printed materials, rum, food and other beverages.
Right.
They're around in the total manufacturing earnings. Rum is probably 16%. Food and beverages another 6%, pharmaceuticals 7%, cement 7%, petroleum products, which is derivatives of 5%, and printed materials 5 to 6%.
All right, 2 questions. 3 questions. So Simon,
right. So we have a question here from Kerry Turton. What do you think of the opportunity of agro or agri-processing? That's one question. What do you think, Mr. Stewart, about the opportunity for development?
So I think it's a huge opportunity. But I see agro processing in the context of, firstly, I believe that we need to protect those products.
For us the agro processing.
So agro processing in the context and the person can clarify for us, but what I understand it to mean is us being able to take products that we would grow and farm here in Barbados and use them for things like packaging of them, converting them into other products and so on, and packaging them and so on. For example, if you have a large grower of, say, peppers, for example, in Barbados, pepper sauce, for example, converting them into things like pepper sauce and marketing them far and wide.
So what about the sargassum and seaweed? That would be something that you look at.
As long as yes, and I think there are people who have done that.
Yeah, I know.
Looking to create products, creating products and so on.
So what about legalizing marijuana?
That's another huge one as well. Looking at things like the different types, different strains of it. But the fundamental of it though, my overarching view, not only for agro processing, but generally for Barbadian products, we are an economy that is fixated on value and not volume. Meaning that even before we look at developing these sectors of agro processing and so on, we need to protect them. And what do I mean by protecting them? I'm talking about things like the Jamaican models of trademarking, and using geographical indicators and so on to make
Yeah.
sure that people cannot copy
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. What we try to do, and to make sure that our products remain unique.
So intellectual property.
Yeah. Our
is
products,
important.
as I said, we cannot compete with the other markets on volume.
Yeah.
Definitely
What it
not.
means, therefore, is that we need to always be fixated on measures of protecting the value we create.
So
What-
for example,
in our
that's like
small
how the government
space.
created the branded sugar, and then also they had the campaign about 100% Asian.
Yeah.
Right.
That 100% Bayesian campaign died a slow death in my opinion.
Right. They should
Not
not have.
everybody.
I think that when we look at brand,
You know what I think though?
but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get into why, but I mean, one of the things.
World Trade Organization.
No, one of the things that we look
For
at
sure.
is like we're talking about brand, like, is the fact that we have to look at Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee as an example.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is like one of the best coffee known around the world,
Mhm.
and Jamaica is small. You understand? But compared to other countries, but at the end of the day,
Its culture.
the brand, as you said, the brand stays
Branding.
around, and while we
Correct.
cannot have the volume, we need to create a brand. When
That's
we try to
unique.
create spooge music as a culture, you know, we needed to keep that spooge alive.
Second
And I
question.
think that the Barbadians, the culture of Barbados is that we don't keep nothing
Yes.
alive.
Yes.
So second question here, we got a question from Sean Rollins. She says, question, I have heard many people say that it's much cheaper to manufacture a product in Trinidad and Jamaica, not Barbados. Is there any validity to this?
Yes, but you have to answer the question. It's a contextual question.
Yes, it is.
On a dollar for dollar basis,
Yeah.
one can say that that is true.
Mhm.
However, as I said initially,
Mhm.
from a value perspective,
Mhm.
it is not. In the context that it is difficult to compare a product made in Barbados with a product made in Trinidad. As I said, they're two distinctly different markets. Trinidad is a market that focuses on economy of scale, volume.
Mhm.
Barbados is an economy and a market that's focused on value,
I-
quality.
Quality.
I
Value.
think interject here quickly. As a banker, this is what it will say to you. It sounds pretty saying that you have value over volume.
Volume, yeah.
But when you're actually looking at the figures and survivability of a business, you need volume over
No,
value.
I can talk about many global businesses that don't do volume. What the name of the business that the ladies buy the handbags, Louis Vuitton,
Louis Vuitton.
and what they
Value.
are,
What's
Aston
the price
Martin.
of
Aston
Hold on, let
Martin?
me
What's the
finish.
price of Louis Vuitton?
Let me finish. And
Is
Aston
that
Martin.
where value
What
comes
I'm
in?
Value
showing
comes
you,
in.
what I'm
Yeah.
showing you
Mhm.
is that there are companies that exist
Mhm.
operating
Value.
principally from the position of
How many
value.
Bugatti Veyrons do you get selling in the world?
I don't
Not that many.
But
not
like
that
the
many.
price of a Bugatti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Volume.
When
Yeah.
it's-
Value.
when
More
it's
than
like
million.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fundamental of it is this: all of our inputs are highly expensive
Mhm.
in our space. We cannot compete with, for example, Trinidad because they have cheaper inputs.
But I think we could go back to.
But we can
using-
compare on value
Correct.
and on quality.
I think we could go back to using like something like China, for example, where a lot of the American companies manufacture in China.
Right.
Yes.
But
They do.
They just manufacture. It doesn't
But the
mean
brand-
that
but
the
the
brand
brand-
remains American
right,
and the brand stays where it is.
And
So
still,
my
they still have
question
the
is-
same value. But look at iPhones.
Correct.
Yeah, but
Very
iPhone is
expensive.
manufacturing
Still
manufacturing
manufacturing
parts.
Yeah, but be careful with that
Yeah,
analogy
yeah,
too, man,
because
because a
iPhone-
lot of companies have done that,
Mhm.
and a lot of them have also found themselves in bad situations where the brand got destroyed as well.
Mhm.
Because you can imagine a picture,
Patterns
you
got
can imagine,
stolen.
right, or you can imagine an image
Mhm.
of someone showing you
Uh-huh.
that you had various things that go against the UN charters happening, for example, in China with a brand.
Mhm.
That brand will die.
Say that again,
You
sorry.
can imagine, for example, a brand that is
Mhm.
manufacturing in China
Mhm.
Right.
being hit with the image
Yeah.
of their products being manufactured in China, utilizing things like child labor or one of those things. That brand will be hurt.
Oh, I
So
agree.
there's an
Right.
inherent.
I think to speak about, let me say like, for
problem.
example, washing machines.
Yeah.
You have to be careful.
Technicians will tell you here to buy a Lisa Whirlpool
Mm-hmm.
out of North America.
Mm-hmm.
They will tell you try and get away from buying a Whirlpool from the South American market.
Why?
Whether it be Colombia, because they find that they're more faulty. They find that they don't last so long. The quality is better when you buy an American-made
American-made.
washing machine.
Mhm.
And from what I've seen in the last couple of weeks, you will actually go into certain stores
Mhm.
and see they have made in USA stamp
On the
stick at the
products.
front.
Yes, sir.
So persons that know what they're looking for
Mhm.
or how they advised before,
Mhm.
they will go and buy the made in America over by the others that would be in Mexico
That would be
and
cheaper.
whatever.
But you know the reason why that
The
happens?
price is not really a big difference.
Because
And again, there's equality.
You understand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I have another
the
question
flag
here
of
too as
Barbados
well.
and the name
Comment.
of the brand of Barbados is very powerful in the global market.
So, right, so
Yeah,
for you
question.
then, Mrs. Stewart, then branding, as well, we will get back to that point about branding and making sure that you have value in Barbados as opposed to volume necessarily. We got a comment here from John Denny. For you, Mrs. Stewart, any ideas of what types of manufacturing you would like to see in Barbados? Small, medium, large, in terms of, I know we spoke about innovation, you were hinting towards
Yes,
innovation.
yes, I get it,
So I
yeah.
guess it would tie
So
in
he's
that.
talking more about what I see as opportunities for maybe new sectors and new
Mhm.
things. So we're talking post-COVID as well. So one of the things I observed in out of the whole COVID, coming out of COVID and so
Don't
on.
speak of it.
Yeah, one of the things I observed coming out of COVID is that I think there are some opportunities associated with, in the same pharmaceutical sector,
Yeah.
that we can leverage or grow that sector to producing things like more like disinfectants. And so I see a big opportunity in that area. Another area I see over time that can bring more value is what we call local, the same agro processing area where
Yeah,
we do more packaging of agricultural oriented products. We need to do more and more of that.
So what about the fact that we have two non-super fruits that grow at a pretty large quality bars? Like you have like pear, which could turn into manufacturing cream, which is pear is a super fruit.
Yes.
We also have used to, I think, pomegranate.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pomegranate.
I remember a gentleman met with me and he said, look, if you could turn 2-3 acres into pomegranate, as pomegranate is like one of the most super fruits in the world, you could make a lot of skincare products from, you could, well, the export from
One that you mentioned is salsa, which is very, very good for person that have cancer. Another thing I would add, we talk about all these things, but I don't think none of those things be coconut. We more coconut oil things that coconut is used
for.
Coconut.
And I wonder
As a fuel,
how
as-
every single day this coconut man is finding coconuts to sell.
Correct. And you have more coconut maker than before. So what about those type of
Yeah,
fruit?
those are huge opportunities. Where people usually meet, where most of the people who are interested in some of these things usually find a little bit of a challenge is when it comes to the processing component. A lot of they don't necessarily have the knowledge and the equipment to do the translation.
So what about exporting? Because I
Is
mean,
it cheaper than bread?
we do good on. I remember cotton. Our cotton is
You gotta get- you gotta
based
price
on
it
what
on cotton.
knowledge I got. Our cotton is seen as one of the best cottons in the world.
Yeah.
So we do a good job on exporting. What about if the government?
Someone says here, cotton is a challenge to grow though.
It's a job, but we have a huge supply of cotton because
True.
I remember when I was a
challenge to get
I-
it too.
Yeah, a challenge to get paid because they don't pay people. Probably based on what they said. But here's what. I know that still a lot of people look at our cotton just as much as they look at our sugar.
Right.
So what I'm
Right.
saying is now, can there be a part within the government, I don't know if there is already, that look at going outside Barbados
Right.
and looking at if, okay, we are large growers of avocado, we're large grower of pomegranate, say, hey, can we get buyers to buy the product and then trafficking them into
So I'm not a big supporter of I remember I talked about value over volume.
Yeah.
What it implies when I say that is I'm not a big supporter of commodity trading
Why?
or an island economy.
Why?
When you sell, so for example, if you take, well, we do probably know, you take your cotton, which is so difficult to harvest,
It's a
and
raw
you sell
material.
it wholesale as a raw material. You
You
know
get
who
the
makes the
money.
money? The person who makes the
Adds
shirt.
value, who adds
The
value
person who
to
makes
it.
the shirt.
Who adds value
So
to it.
I'm a more of a supporter of converting all commodities, and I'll get to that when it
Into a
comes to the
product.
other industries just now.
Into a product.
Because we do have industries right now in Barbados that sell commodity. You don't win a commodity battle. There are other markets that do it on a larger scale, and they can beat you on pricing.
Okay.
So you don't make money
Yeah,
generally
because
when you go
my
to
thing
commodity
with
markets,
what
right?
he said, how much pomegranates can we grow compared to another island that is 10 times the bigger?
So that you grow your small amount, you make sure that it is treated as special, you make sure it is trademarked, that it is identified as unique and special to your geography, and so you make sure you protect it in that way.
But
And so there will only be few
I'm
people
not-
who will
I'm
wear
not-
shirts with your cotton, and they will pay
So-
for it.
You're
But I think I want to look at
Exclusivity
something
of-
before we jump on that, because there's a unique thing that I want to look at.
Egyptian cotton.
There's a unique thing I want to look at that as it relates to this. We saw companies like Earth Mother Botanical that rise, because one of the challenges too that we have in Barbados in terms of growing anything in manufacturing is that we recognize that this table here, we were going to a store and see it, and let's say we go into a furniture store, we see it, or these nice chairs we are sitting in, and we fall in love, right? But we fall in love because the perception is that this chair was built overseas. But from the time you go into the store, they had 100% Asian on it, all of a sudden in your mind, it doesn't look good, the quality ain't good, and then that in itself, what I find is that, well, we can't grow at a certain level is that when we as Bajans find that this product here, this unique product, which may be more better than half the products, artificial products coming in or coming out, whatever, will never get the support in it. So I think there's a perception of that we need to change.
Right, so I think that only thing that come in play is like our mahogany is supposed to be good also. But I think what will happen there is that that's where marketing comes in and trying to help to change the perception of the brand to persons. Because I think
that's what BMX was for. But BMX was traditionally supposed to showcase the locals, the best of the best in the local industry as it relates to products and services offered through manufacturing. But at the end of the day, I remember going to many BMX because my journey was a setup at it. People enjoy the area where Boyko was giving away ice cream or Purity was giving away stuff, and the Columbia, whatever. But when it came to local manufacturing, local art,
you were interested.
We weren't as interested. And then year by year, you saw the next downsize, smaller and smaller and smaller. I must say that we probably taken a lick now at the Agro Fest, and probably that may be because it falls in the beginning, we ain't gonna let it do. But at the end of the day, can these people really say, well, look, I put on a manufacturing show and I sell my goods and services? Did they benefit? Because in a lot of times people were saying we weren't making the money.
No, but as I said before,
Let me ask you a question.
I alluded to that. I alluded to that a little bit before, right? There are two things at play there. I totally agree with the money that, yes, we need to
Market?
put a little more marketing, and this is for the local context, right? However, there are some brands that teach us how this is done. The brands like the beer brands and so on, who they were never they were seen in the same light. So it's just a local thing, and eventually the external market told us that no, these brands are powerful. We like your beer, we like your this, we like your that, and we then learned to respect them as well.
What you mean the banks and what's
yeah. We give them the local, we give them respect now because the overseas markets told us that hey, no, we like what you have.
Can that stem from,
and it can happen to the other.
And I don't want to make it any racist remark or anything, but does it stem from the fact that also some of these brands take off because of color and who's involved? Because you can understand that a lot of our businesses in Barbados that are very successful, especially on a regional level, are white owned, and not necessarily black owned or have even black involved at any high level. So yes, we will work the business, but when we work the business and grow, that white business owner is taking it to another level. So I find that while it is that you want to grow it, their business is somewhat challenging for that individual. And I think, and I always like to think that the show is about debriefing, but also about bringing solution.
That's it.
I believe that the Barbies Manufacturing, if it is not, it should be a place that is set up, that can give accounting, executive approach to things. It should be able to bring certain things as advice. And they're talking about a setup predominantly to help guide you that I may be the greatest entrepreneur, but the worst accountant.
I'm telling you,
I may be the greatest.
does all that.
No, I don't want to delve into that part, because if I delve into that part, we probably would be in it. We probably would, because obviously the numbers again don't add up.
Exactly.
You understand? So I don't want to delve into that. But what I'm saying is that I believe that we should look at, even if a private sector does it, that say, well, listen, you don't have the money to pay me for my accounting, you don't have the money to pay me for like Glen skill sets as an executive, but here's what, we will take some sort of share as we grow you. If we grow you in a year, we take 10%, 20%, 30%, year by year, that you're able to buy us back out.
Williams CRB Capital.
And whatever the case may be. You understand? Yeah, but again,
I
must look
understand
we
this
must look
part.
at approach that can help the black business
The
and
reason?
keep the black businessman as well as a owner.
Marketable.
Because when I watch things like Shark Tank and the man say, listen, I can take 10% of your business, but I want 2% advisory shares. So in some case, I can buy back out that person in the long run because the contract will state that you can buy them back out.
But
So the advisory is always there to
one of the
keep going.
issues here is that you call this a very low numbers. I think you call those kind of persons something angel investors. They don't ask for 10 or 5%. It'd be 40.
Yeah, but no, understand
That's not
what
more lack of the opportunity.
But persons are willing.
Hold on.
But why you not willing to give it that much?
I don't want your misunderstanding.
If you don't have the money to actually invest in the business, and I come to you and say, listen, you got a great idea.
You're
We're not
undercapitalized.
talking
But you know
about-
what? You need $1 million. You got the idea, I got the money.
No,
You want
y'all
my money?
missing my
I want
point. No, y'all told on
You
Jeremy.
get 40, you can
Jeremy,
pay your
y'all are
money.
missing my point. We are not talking about investing in the person. A lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs can get by with probably going by fund access and all those and get the money.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
I'm
they get
saying
around
is that the person needs guidance.
Yeah.
So in a lot of sense, Glen, who has 20 years experience, will probably carry that to his grave. We need that on the table now to say, let's set up a company where Glen expertise, the money business savviness, your accounting and finance background, your whatever, but just using an example.
but this is
Hold
what
on,
this is
let me get a point. Could be able to, a man in manufacturing, for example, can walk through the door. He has the money, he has the land, he has whatever he has, Agro Processing, whatever. I said, I am the greatest entrepreneur in the world,
Yes.
but I need guidance. And this company is the one
Onestop shop,
is
really.
guiding him as a, how do you say that, accountant? Expert knowledge in export and whatever. So that when that person, no, you're missing the point. When that person is ready to take off, you're with that person as that thing he can't pay.
Alright, listen, okay.
Well, it may not be that the company could be, let's say we could get 5%.
Yeah, we understand all that.
whatever.
This is the thing though. All the things that you're talking about, I think right now there is a person or wherever a company that does do that in Barbados.
No.
There's more issues like
No,
that. He's talking about a company, but here we have it. I want to start a company, right? I might let me say I might got the money, but obviously I don't know how to get things done.
Yeah.
I could come and hire an accountant, I could come and hire a reserve manager, I could come and hire a manager, I could come and hire a cleaner. But one problem is comes that, oh, I don't want to hire an accountant, I don't want to hire a lawyer. They want to spend money to do these things that we probably can't. But then we have a company that does all this. It's not okay.
Let me ask you a question.
The people
You ever tried
for
going
free.
for unemployment benefit?
I'm not here to get service for free.
Hold on, no. You ever tried going for
They will
unemployment
give you
benefit?
services for free.
No.
You know how somebody give
I
you
don't know.
I have done that.
Hold on.
But
I have done that in as far as my time and so on afford it. I have done it before. I have spent time with people and businesses and
Are you probably
entrepreneurs.
getting it for free now?
And I've done it before.
So
because I love.
Alright, so I have a great idea. Will you give me some free services?
Absolutely.
No. Before you
I want
to touch on send the money here.
I like to see people succeed.
Nature optimist, I like you.
I like to see people
Then,
succeed.
if I may, right? There's a thing with the money problem we have there, right?
Listen, don't let he can drag you in the political party.
Me?
Because he party won't wear right up. I hear the rest of the bury.
You can't be working and they got a tombstone. Come on, man.
Right, these guys have to go off point. I have one but keep the questions coming. One of the things that my challenge with the money, with what the money says, right? I don't know, I using this for a fetch. I don't know if you ever try to get it on employment benefit in Barbados. The problem with that, right, I use that as an example, is that the average person, no, back then when they was getting unemployment, I just choose out to go to the building in Kelowna Road. That's it.
Yeah.
But you could get unemployment benefit now, you wreck already, you know. You go to Kelowna Road, but then you go all the way up there to so I use that like, use my example, warrants.
I know first, I
Right.
know.
So this is the problem, this is where you...
But I know you could do it online though.
This is where you use the example. The example is that is the problem.
We got a lot of bureaucracy in Barbados.
The fact that when if I want to go into manufacturing, I go run across by the export whatever, then I go run across here, then that you see that is really problem like that. When I said that if
and the wait times
to navigate that.
and the wait times.
but yeah, then you across that burnout, you plantation and run through it. So that's what I'm saying. If a company look at it one-stop shop.
But before you
Give me the question first and then
right. Because once again, John Denny, he's saying great ideas, but how do we get the banks to be more receptive to provide capital to ordinary Barbadians? These ventures, besides great ideas, need capital to get off the ground.
There was a reply. Oh, that's Stephen. He's replying to Shauna.
But
Yes,
I don't believe. So I heard your great discussion in the last show about what the banks, the local banks do and don't do in the context of supporting innovative ideas and so on. One of the things I looked at when I looked at innovation is when what upsets me locally is that when people talk about innovation, a lot of times when you hear them talking about this, changing the package of things, making a new bottle and so on. But we don't talk about innovation in a holistic way, meaning innovation across the board. For example, we talked about angel investors, which my friend here said that is either angel or the devil. But it's either angel or the devil. But the point is, what is needed in my view is more private incubators where, like how you have the Shark Tank kind of concept, where people can look at ideas and decide, yes, I want to bet on this. So I could be sitting down here and listening to an idea that is projected just as we are doing this show, and I decide that, yes, you know what, I'm willing to put some money behind this first. Right? It depends on the objective. You have to give me an idea of what you plan to do with this. But the point is, I'm saying that besides just the banks, let's look at it. You have so much capital in Barbados that is within the context of this. What is it? Credit union thing. My understanding of the credit union is that it is owned by the members. So why is it that the boards and so on of these organizations don't go in that direction?
Let me respond.
They're the same very people, no?
Correct.
I want to make a few points here. Now, I listened to you all guys talking, right? And when you were speaking about manufacturing, I find that you predominantly are focusing on the large players in market.
I talked about the small sector.
Right, I know you focus a little bit on the small players, right? But I want to bring something into this context. We have a situation in Barbados now where there are 1,000 people who are claiming unemployment benefits, right? And inevitably,
so I just want to thank the agent reporter for just approving us on the page. That's Ian. But you should be here on his page, so that's good for.
Okay.
So thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Ian. Right. But what I was saying, we have 41,000 people in Barbados who are now claiming unemployment benefits, and a lot of the hotels and the tourism-related industries may not necessarily reopen within the next 6 months to a year, so that these people can get back their jobs and start back life as normal.
Right.
So a lot of persons, as you have seen during Barbados, have gone into agriculture. All right. Some are selling.
That is a positive for the for post-COVID positive in a way.
Right. But what I'm asking now, how do we try to get an environment, right, where some of these 41,000 can actually start small manufacturing operations at home, because a lot of them can't pay for storefront spaces and everything like that. Right. Start small manufacturing businesses at home and are able to monetize it such a way that they can support themselves, their families, and make a profit. Right. That is number one. Number two, I wanted you were speaking just now about the credit union movement and the banks and why the banks don't get involved in actual lending.
No, what the credit unions don't get involved.
But no, you spoke with credit union, but this is I want to say this, right? We sometimes blame the credit union movement.
You want to defend them or no?
No, I will defend banks.
Go ahead.
When you're talking about the banks, just be cognizant that we separated them into banks
and credit unions. No, but whilst they are separated, banks and credit unions, right? They're both more or less regulated by the Central Bank of Barbados and the Financial Services Commission.
Yes, but that one is still called members and one called clients.
Right, but this is what I want to say.
It's all to take our money.
Right, yes, they both do, right? But here it is, right? We have to be fair. You got to be balanced. A bank or a credit union may be interested in lending a small, medium, or large manufacturer money, right?
Mhm.
You know the challenge that they face? They have to, huh?
They want return?
No, any business that
What's the
invests money
challenge?
wants a return. But you have to deal sometimes with some of these senior regulators whom, believe it or not, tell you how you can lend your money. Right? They're looking at your risk appetite. I know you have your.
I told you I don't deal with risk, right?
I know you say you don't deal with risk.
Every
but
risk is an opportunity.
But you stealing my phrase now. Right? But no, let's be honest. You have a regulator who tells you that this is the risk appetite that you're allowed to do. Because remember, you have people's deposits. Right? So, in as much as Simon Allen or Kimar Safri might bring a real beautiful business idea and say you want $1 million or $2 million, the regulator is more concerned that the bank or the credit union does not take up members' money or depositors' money and lend Simon Allen or Kimar Safri and don't get a return, because then you know what? When there's a rent on the bank,
But you see, it goes back to the point that Kimar would have mentioned, and where your whole optimism comes in. I do believe that with our manufacturing sector, there probably might be a need for a bit more streamlining as it relates to having a one-stop shop. Even if you don't have a one-stop shop, at least an easier interface for emerging manufacturers to be guided accordingly.
Yes. So right, absolutely. That is exactly because you need confidence. I understand your point, which is tying to his, which is that the lending agencies are pretty much saying that they require more confidence before they can go in their pockets and out capital, right? But the thing is, why you have that occurring in a big way to me is that the way innovation is structured, or the lack of structure associated with innovation in the local market and the local context, is what is creating some of the challenges. For example, you have a huge disconnect between your academic sector and your manufacturers.
Correct.
So how do you create? How do you get innovation in an economy? You need to make your university need to work hand in hand with your manufacturers to help them with things like research and to drive that process. That brings confidence.
I agree.
Because if the bank would say that this idea has been tested, has been tested scientifically, and it is known and it is proven that it will work. There is correlation and so on. All of that is done by collaboration between your university and your manufacturers and
so are you saying that University of West Indies Cape campus
need to play a role?
Is currently failing?
They need to play that role. No, but it's not. I'm not saying not. Okay, I'm saying that it's a hand-in-hand thing. It's not necessarily that one is worse than the other.
Because
I'm saying that it's an opportunity. Remember, I'm saying that it's an opportunity, right, for the two to work hand-in-hand. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I spent some time analyzing. You have here what you call a government lab, government analytical board.
Yeah.
And one of the things I observed over the years is that this government lab, they take samples from the manufacturers.
Yeah.
And they test your products. They test the products for compliances and so on, so that you can export and so on. But that's all they do. They don't have an arm or an element within that laboratory setting where they help these manufacturers with innovation, where they do check things to generate new products, and they
But
don't.
then if I may
that
go back
idea.
to something that
that's an
tends to
option.
frustrate me in the sense too. I think many times we allow rather than we push to get things to change. I remember a time I was reading something and it says that this bank, the big boys were always in this sense of lending certain people, certain names, certain color. But then there was this particular loans officer that went and lent everybody come to he just stopped. But when they check the records, all of the what you call the low end people or the small business people were the ones paying back the bank, were the ones that were rich were never paying back. And I say that to say that I agree that right now that the banks in Barbados need to seriously take a look at the way that they're going about this this tough and thing approach to getting and lending people. I cannot believe that over the years you hear where banks are making 100 and something million in profits. You understand? And combined in regional billions. You understand? But they're not giving back with
First, I said that that's not enough. But
But it's not enough.
the
Profits?
X more millions that they make is not enough.
Wow.
But yeah, but me and you know when we go and see $30 a profit in retail, we feel good.
But to be fair,
they were comparing to other markets.
It's not fair about it.
To me,
It's me money.
Hold on.
What's the
To me-
overheads of bank?
to me-
What's the overhead like? What's the overhead structure like of a bank?
How you
They
mean?
have high overheads.
Yeah,
Like,
allowances,
how much do you put in? No,
allowances.
I'm saying how much
Of
you have to
course.
put in. No, in the context
Yeah, but
of
salary.
in the context of a
prophesy.
manufacturer has to
Yeah.
buy heavy equipment
Yeah.
before they can produce a product. I'm asking
Maintenance
relative
service.
The biggest
Is the
cost
bank
in
that capital intense?
the biggest cost in any bank would be obviously
Sorry.
the salaries,
Mhm.
right? But then you have to look
That's
at.
not capital. That's not capital intense.
That's working capital.
But I also want you to remember that many banks had to give out interest to
But what? Actually, come on, just listen to me, right?
0.1%.
What's the insurance banks are going to get a blast the insurance?
I don't understand.
Sorry, interest. Not even 1%.
You got how many here?
But apart from that,
Let them call it, Mr. Collins.
I take my money off from Public Bank. Simply for the fact.
Don't call it bank.
No, I call because this is actual facts. I'm talking facts.
Man, 35.
I take my money off from Public Bank. One, because they weren't paying no interest. Two,
They pay no interest
not
to you.
only for paying interest, they want to take $10 off my account every single month. That's bullshit.
It's only $7.50.
Alright, let me get
It's
down.
$10 to get $10 off my account.
Alright.
But hold on.
It's $10.
Hold on. Let's be careful because my thing is, there are banks that will be deemed to be, for example, I can sit down here and probably tell you the Republic Bank is my favorite bank. The point I'm making
It is my favorite bank.
The point I'm making though is that I know that there are institutions out there that work for some people
And some don't.
and don't work for others, right? No, and don't get me wrong, they all have room for improvement, right? In all the realms that they do. But the discussion about what the banks can do or what the banks do,
Mhm.
I think, Jeremy, you alluded to it, that the regulators have a role to play
Of course.
in terms of transforming that sector and looking at making sure that the banks are equitable
Mhm.
in how they pursue financing strategies and so on, right?
The regulator, the government of Barbados is, and I'll be very fair, if the government of Barbados is truly serious about developing the manufacturing sector in Barbados, and you remember when I was speaking previously about the budget debates and the consultations with the different varying bodies,
Right.
the one thing that I did not allude to was the fact that successive governments have failed to put proper concessions in place. And when I say concessions, I'm not meaning giving people the opportunity to bring things duty-free report, right?
Mhm.
But if you want the banks in Barbados and the credit union movement, I call both for purpose because in these times, I think we need the credit union movement to assist the small business people even more, right? If you want the commercial banks and the credit union movement to actually assist, to give people more capital and financing for manufacturing enterprises or whatever businesses they want to go into,
Right.
the government has to put more, has to put more money where their mouth is, right? And I will say this, right? The same way that you write off taxes to people and you do all sorts of different things, the government should be willing to say, listen, we want to jumpstart the manufacturing sector in Barbados,
Correct.
and we gonna put a $60 million, not tax write off, but we can put a $60 million grant or some form of scheme where the banks, the banks could lend, like say Glen decide he want to do a manufacturing enterprise, he going to Republic Bank or Ukraine or whatever, and the bank could put up 10% or 20% of their money. The government backs the loan up to 80%, right? And it is a win-win for all because the bank make a profit and the government helps the people.
Alright, give John got a question, suggestion on the same bike.
He said, how about the banks be made to report yearly on their loan categories? That way, the Asian depositors can make a decision on where to put their money.
Great point. And what he's saying there is that you cannot control something if you don't measure it.
That's it.
So we're sitting here talking about
Mhm.
what we would call the mix or the spread, the loan spread of the banks. But we have no visibility about what that looks like.
Exactly.
Right.
I agree with this in a sec. I was just going to speak on that, right? That I think that it is time that either the government or the bank has loan categories.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that the bank or the government need to look at
But it's done every month.
But no,
Hold on, no, at the bank I can tell you.
Ain't done.
Hold on.
No, it ain't done. Ain't done.
No, hear me. As
Assumption.
a banker, when I was in a commercial bank,
What is done
hold
on that journey?
When I was in a commercial bank, and that is the reason why I alluded to the regulator. Every month, every commercial bank in Barbados has to do something called the central bank report. In
Right.
that central bank report, the central bank asks the bank, we want to know how much you got in mortgages, we want to know how much you got in car loans.
That's reporting,
No,
Jeremy.
hold on.
I'm not talking about reporting.
But no, hold on.
I get the point.
The government of
I
Barbados
get
knows
the
how much
point.
money is lent in manufacturing, tourism, agriculture, so the government has the
No,
figures.
listen, I don't think
But it
that
needs
these
to be
people,
for public
listen, I don't think that
consumption.
these people categorize it like that here.
They do.
They categorize it
I have to do
in a
report.
but hold on, they categorize it in a sense of reporting, yes, but not in the sense of doing anything else but reporting.
Right.
And there's a difference between reporting and analyzing something.
And a deep
And a
analysis.
deep analysis
That
to
is the
say
job of the
that,
central
hold
bank.
on, you might say, okay, I lend your entrepreneurs $1 million, and then lend agriculture $2 million, right? But where in the report does it say,
Yeah.
this has brought me this, and it is a gaining industry, and we think we need to put more.
Qualitative.
And it's qualitative.
Qualitative.
But the other thing is too, I think that the government or the bank should be looking at putting in money, like we know that we over the years, we could go into this one, we've been talking about agriculture all year in a year. But yeah, it is still, we're looking at it as an industry that's supposed to pull the economy out, especially as it relates to food security and other ways.
Right.
But little to nothing has been done. And I'm talking about, you cannot say to me that I need to change the food security, but here's a 10 million additional. That is not helping the situation. Because the farmers or whoever are crying out saying, but this is the problem. You give in 10 million, but the water bill still high. You got to lower the water bill in order for the survivability of the properties. But I go again by saying that I think financial institutions, whether they are government, needs to look at two things. We need to look at that we put aside monies in categories and take it out of the hand. Because my biggest challenge is when I go to a bank and I see a BDO or I see whatever, these persons are not necessarily skilled in anything but being a BDO, you know. And I take it away from people's job. But I'm just saying, all there is business development officers.
I have a problem with that as well, and this is something.
And they don't have knowledge of nothing.
They're very finance oriented, but
Never
they probably
started
don't
about a car.
understand
That's
business.
true.
They don't probably necessarily understand business in its greatest context, where
That's
they can
it.
evaluate properly an opportunity.
Correct, and that is why I'm saying now that when you have that, I believe, for example, that let's say, I'm just using it.
They start from the perspective of risk.
A risk, right? The Barbies
You don't believe in risk.
The Barbies Manufacturing Association, in my belief, should be given grant funding to be able to distribute to I mean, when it's a funding, whether it be an investment fund or grant fund,
Right.
that they can help people, the manufacturers grow. I don't believe that as a manufacturer, everybody got to be running to the bank.
I agree.
We could put it in and whether it be government or it should be some investment portfolio within BMA or some investment portfolio within the agriculture sector, whatever sector. And people can say like yourself, I have a great interest in agriculture or in manufacturing. Let's bring these companies to investing levels that I could come and say, well look, Yankee government is doing pretty good. I want to invest in it. It may not hit the stock exchange,
But it's
investable.
Right.
And we bring all the business that have been making tremendous profit. So you want to grow? Let me throw more money in you for you to grow, and then get a 2% on the returns.
Correct.
And when I take my money and put it into the bank, I can see in 5 years' time I can be able to get on my return 50% or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to bring the
But it's
business
not only
investability.
giving them money, because we have realized that it's more than money actually needs
You need
support.
technical support.
But all of that, the BMA and those, as I said, the reason why I didn't touch on that part because I know that they have that capacity already. But I'm just saying, there's too many businesses. I remember having 5 ice cream parlors.
Okay.
I built 5 ice cream parlors in 1 year, and it wasn't because the first trade build I built on my own. But when I saw other spots I wanted to build, I said, well look, I would love an investor. And people came along and invested, and we opened 5 ice cream parlors in 1 year. And that is more to say than any ice cream parlors that have been around for 20 years longer than me. So I'm just saying, there are some businesses or there's some people that are at the level now that if I could barely but get a little light for the bulb,
Yeah.
I could do more.
Mm.
But they may not have the sufficient cash flow to buy the bulb. So I'm just saying is whether it be somebody in manufacturing, whether it be somebody in agriculture, there need to be an investment portfolio for Barbados. Like we're talking about the boss bonds and all of that. Where we could go and put we money into government to be able to build back the thing and stand, that's good. But we just need to be able to say at the same time, if Simon has a passion for comedy or for entertainment, where can we go invest in this new
That's
upcoming singer and put it in the way that if he makes money, because the gamble win or lose, you don't know.
Yeah.
It has
no
to
risk,
be
less opportunities.
a portion going back to investorship.
For everyone that might fail, you might got
And if I may add,
above and beyond the failure.
correct.
That's
And
true.
if I may
That's
add,
true.
this is
Very
one
true.
of the reasons, right?
Yeah.
This is one of the main reasons. And then going back off the topic from last week, why black people cannot survive in this country other than on a paycheck. Because we have no investments.
The
And there's no
environment is-
investment opportunity. Then talking about if you want, yes, you have the little, you could go and buy their shares, and they got shares. But the return on the shares, if you ain't spending say like 40,000, 50,000, ain't as
nothing.
great as
I agree.
But we need to have and I think somebody need to pick it up because I can tell you something today, ain't no money to do it. That you get a company that looks at investment portfolios and bring the money business that doing good, key business that doing good, and bring it to the
Get injection.
standards. I see William started the William Capital Investment.
Williams Capital, yeah.
No, that's a
What's
great
that?
idea. The way you go invest in businesses that you want to see. And I can bet you that didn't start with the money.
True.
That start with a bunch of people that had an idea. What not? I'm not saying people put money in it, but I'm just saying to you, we as black people, in order to secure a future, if not for ourselves but our children, we need to start thinking investment.
Well,
You can't meet America that don't even got that don't have an investment. They buy shares and everything.
So
What is in the
I
direction?
want to propose an idea here, right?
You want to start a company?
Being that you propose, being that you
All right,
are pushing
yeah,
it, you know, I am willing to put. I don't have much money, right? But I will put.
That's very contextual.
That's very
Your definition of much money might be
You
way
know what I'm saying? You
No, that's
got,
money.
way beyond
you got plenty, but you got much.
Not much.
I willing to put a $50 bill on the table, you know.
Keep money around body, you'll keep more.
Right? Glenn might put 100. You might be able to put 2 or 3. Same way you can be a politician, so you might be able to put $1 million. The money.
No, you heard last year.
Okay, no,
But the
no.
point is, I understand your point. Your point is along the lines of consolidation.
Yeah, we gotta come
Yes,
together.
consolidation.
People coming together to because there's strength in
Numbers.
numbers in terms of investment as well.
Like each
Ideas
one,
as
if
well.
each one we put $1,000 tonight, and we start something, you be amazed that 5 years from now it can work $5 million.
Yeah, but no,
That's it.
don't forget, it's not just about us. It's the fact that people will be coming to say, yes, I'm interested in our manufacturing. Show me 5 companies that are doing good.
Of course.
Now,
Correct.
on the same note, though, I want to just swing a little in another direction. Now, having said all that we've said so far, the other thing that comes to mind is that I want to also look at our comments relative to, say, for example, the other islands and so on. And I must say that relative to the other islands and so on, Barbados has done reasonably well in terms of being creative at the small business level, you know.
Alright,
Yeah,
maybe
we have a lot of young people here who start up new things.
And now through the COVID a lot more.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes.
But here the challenge. Here where I see the biggest challenge for them. I spent a lot of years making this point that getting into business, getting into private enterprise and so on, is not necessarily about the developing the capacity to produce products and so on. You know. The first area that I think people usually see as where these bankers usually flag as a risk is if the person has done significant due diligence on the commercial side. Is there a market for this?
Of course.
No, wait, because a lot of times I've seen right here that people fall in love with products. If you're going to be creative and you're going to become an entrepreneur and you're going to produce something, it is not necessarily from the vantage point that you like chairs and you gonna make chairs, you know. It has to be commercially viable. And you have to have done that assessment.
Remember when
And not with family and friends.
Exactly.
You remember when
that says that there is a market
you
for
remember when
it.
he made the point,
Listen.
quantity over quality?
Value over volume.
Value over volume, right.
You know, there's companies in America, and this is again where we fall down. I gave in all the suggestions tonight, and somebody turning me the name off for them.
I definitely listening.
In America, right, there are companies that you pay to go out and do product testing. My biggest challenge is that we feel as entrepreneurs or people, because we want to test everything ourselves. We want to do everything ourselves. And that's it. Do me, all me is what you feel of me.
It's not selfish.
There are businesses that you can go and say, listen, the demand is good at business, take my product, run with it, go do some research, carry it away from my family and friends who can give me a pat on the back, come back up. There's even parts where I've seen where they do, you sit behind this glass, and your testing is being done, and we have cameras and videos and everything out there, and people telling you the pricing sucks, if it's good, if the product need more salt or whatever. And I think that because you hear from the people, you go behind that and it's setting up product testing for you to hear from real. So we call people real. We don't know ice cream testing, can't test this ice cream.
No, the other thing too, that's a very good point, but the other thing too for small enterprises is that some of them sometimes they see hurdles and they see that, oh, I don't have the wherewithal to reach into the external markets and so on, and they see these things as challenges, but they're not, you know. Sometimes they just don't know where to go. I'll give you an example. I mean, all the talk about these are agencies like the BIDC and so on. I have friends in some of these agencies and I know they do good work. For example, and this is an idea I'm throwing out there for the viewers. For example, our embassies in the other countries and so on. Do you know that those embassies serve as a huge area, huge seed for seeding new products in Barbados into the global market? The BBC call and they send these products to the embassies, and the embassies, when they have visitors and so on, they showcase them. When they have trade shows, they show what Barbados has to offer. And there right there, you would have maybe, you know, in the Chinese embassy, for example, you would have a Chinese guy come here and say, I like this thing, where is this? And he gets a card for the person, and he can call them in Barbados, and he can ask them, do you have capacity? Can you build capacity? How long will it take? I need this kind of product. Can you provide me with the volumes I need and so on? And so that's how you build those relationships. But many times what I found is the first hurdle is the commercialization hurdle. And I'm saying that after working for companies that have global reach. Right? Yes. That one of the things I found with those external companies is that they spend a lot of time fixated on the whether something is valued in the marketplace or how to create that value in a product. Right? And you first have to do that due diligence, do that kind of work so that you can size, as we would say, your ability to be competitive in the marketplace. And when I say competitive, I'm not saying competitive only on the point of price, but on the point of quality.
I'm gonna read a comment from Anthony, then again give an example.
Okay.
Anthony Cummins is saying, no, that is not the reason why black people cannot have bright futures here, because we Barbados know investments opportunities. There are too many opportunities out there. People need to be educated and become financially literate from nursery school. You don't have to start investing with $1 million, which is a myth for years.
I totally agree. That is true.
We spoke about investors, right? And last week I mentioned about we as black people is our own problem.
You get that. You get links to that.
I can give you an example.
You know you don't agree.
A proposal came to me. A proposal came to me a couple of years ago, right?
The first way to fix the problem is first admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
So they can't fix this.
Proposal came to me a couple of years ago.
I can hear you. Done.
About investing in a very popular small bar shop.
Okay.
Right? But this particular shop had a commodity that was very, very popular. I was known.
Sex workers?
No, it was food. Anyways, so I gather a group of men, about 7 men, and we made an investment in the shop, in stocking the shop.
Okay.
With the particular item that they're selling, along drinks or whatever. We put about 20 grand in the shop. Now, it comes back now to investing in black people.
Oh boy.
That man made back that money in, let me say, about just over a month. Right?
Yeah.
Took that money and did what he wasn't supposed to do with it. Tell lies all kind of thing. So you see what I keep on saying, it's very hard to go back again and invest in
I know you tell you
that happens in one community. I'm sick and tired of hearing you criticizing black people all the time.
But
You can't
I
don't want to talk about what you know.
But I know it's the case.
It's got to be
How much are we black
Got
is
to be
invested
fair.
in the white? So hold on there. But here's the thing my thing is that is a knowing fact amongst a lot of black people because at the same time.
But it happens amongst the whites too.
But I ain't talking about whites here.
Man, invest in
But hold
black
on.
people.
But here's what he's saying.
I invest in black
The
people.
reason why that's
Are you
happening is
racist?
hold on.
Sorry.
Give him a chance.
The only reason why that's happened is because of the fact that a lot of times black does not know wealth. And when
Correct.
we see wealth, we are our nature in
Yeah,
some
right.
way we kind to be greedy towards it, right? Because
It's a new concept.
It's a new thing when they block to see a 10,000 or 20,000, and we sometimes don't trust ourselves enough. That is why when I went back to saying that we need to create a company that would hold that investment, because that then would say that investment could be that whole company could be audited and be accountable to the investment company, which now protects you and to feel that if I get into partnership with Glen here, I would not have to fear because you know what? This company oversees
There's a
everything
framework
and a framework and a transaction. So if this month come up and we see that money missing,
Accountability.
and we say, well, listen, this books isn't adding up. You say, but this stock, something isn't adding up. We could then bring the stakeholders quickly to the table and say, hey, this is whatever. But that is a cultural thing, you know, that we have become in this whole perception. And I agree with, to some extent, with Dr. Cummings in the sense that, yes, we are not educated enough in terms, and we don't educate ourselves enough as it relates to when we want to get into things.
Don't be paralyzed.
But
at the same time, I've seen it, and I have a lot of businesses, and
Okay, Mark, before you go any
I have
further,
one or two partners.
before you go any further,
But hold on.
our education system was set for us by the British and the Americans. You
But
really think that they're going to tell
I
us
care
how to
who
make
said that.
ourselves
But
better
I
and
don't
how
care
to
who
make
said
money
that.
for us black people?
No, I
Come on,
don't agree with that.
So you see one side, who set our education system?
We always school
It
system,
has
right? We
evolved.
always school system.
It has evolved.
All, I know if you do, but all of us here have businesses.
Why you don't have a business?
We went through the same system.
I evolve past the system because here's what there's
Exactly.
enough knowledge there that could teach me that even though we have an education system, I do not depend on my education system here to groom me. My education system is far beyond the 7-10 years that they want to keep me up some point.
No, for example, Damon was educated by the man that had 20 grand too. He knows that you need a framework, they need a framework.
But that comment that you said there, but the comment that you said there is don't let that deter you.
Don't let it deter you.
At the same time, I
So
say
you
that
that's the business to me.
Because the next man you lend 20 grand to, Glen, they will bring back 100.
I listen, Jeremy want 10 and Jeremy 50.
You know, it's not about our whole story, right? Is that everything you do is come back to you.
True.
And it's unfortunate
Could
to
do.
hear this, but I didn't feel forced. I didn't feel unfortunate because I didn't get any money. And to hear recently, comments ago that the man died, you know, I actually felt good to hear that he died.
Oh, no, the
money.
Like he's a criminal, he should have died.
Come on,
Let me be clear, I would never have a discussion about $20,000 on somebody's health.
Right, so what I'm saying is this.
It's
Going forward.
not like with life to do.
But let me say
going forward.
about the topic.
Yeah.
I think that we just need to look at a number of things when we start to talk about the manufacturing and a number of things in Barbados.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think it all surrounds, as I said, we need to look at the who's lending the money because I strongly disagree when I see. I remember it was at university. No, sorry, I was doing a course, and in doing this course, the people teaching the course were so far from the course, like they had no knowledge of the course itself. So if I was learning to build a house, none of them that
Built a
was
house.
in that was teaching us were architect, were construction persons. Let's say all the people that was teaching the course were doctors, lawyers.
No, that's an issue.
Well,
That's
hold
an
on.
issue.
Let me finish. There's a comment here from Carrie Jordan.
So, yeah, I see
She
it.
says, so money has not being stolen or went missing from companies or malfeasance. Let's discuss a far better viable solutions for investing in small, medium enterprises.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Right? So I just say that when you look at these things, that when I use that analogy to say, when we see BDOs and we see people in the banks, I personally do not think that the bank should only look at risk of not getting back their money, because it is a risk. I mean, anytime you invest, it is a risk regardless. Yeah, regardless of the bank can calculate that risk a million times. It's still risk.
It'll be a risk.
And while they may want it the lowest level of risk, it is still risk, and I think that we need to look at.
You recognize the banks are accountable to their
shareholders.
No, the shareholders. But the shareholders want that the depositors' money has to be secured.
But what is solutions to
I
the
mean,
guys?
Jermaine, on the real,
Listen,
what depositors you talking about?
Hold on. Even the guy that
You know where you money like that?
even the guy that runs the bank tells his children that they're allowed to fail and they're allowed to make mistakes, and that's the only way they
You
will
learn.
grow.
But
And hold on, and by making those mistakes, they will grow and develop,
Right.
and that eventually they'll become successful. But he even tells that to his own children.
But he can't tell
I
that to
want
the
to know-
80,000 people.
Okay,
I want to know
is this
because
guy?
I want to know
has to be
if the bank.
secured when it wants it.
I want to know the bank just call you and tell you when your money getting and out.
Never.
Okay, move on.
My point is this, right? Very good point. My point is this.
I don't know about much, so I don't know about
If the bank or the credit union and other lending agencies, financial institutions have a issue lending money to small business and enterprises, the reality of it is that they must ensure that if they invest in you, that they follow up with the investment. Yeah. Not by just saying to you, well, okay, well, you owe this money when you call you, but you defaulted on payment.
True guidance.
But through guidance, and also partnering that small business operator, whoever that person is, or their idea, with the persons in the industry that can assist them.
So that's another business, you know. That's another business, you know. If company, I give you all my ideas.
But commercial banks and credit departments.
I'm talking about credit departments. You don't care about credit department. I'm talking about from a perspective that there could be a business created that get the same investment company thing that we're talking about. If the bank know the lend Simon money, the bank should then, if you're talking about getting back the depositors' money, like this, the bank then but the bank should then do so. This company here, you lend money, but I also want you to go and pay we to this company who will deal with accounting, who will deal with guidance, who will deal with counseling, who will deal with product management, and the bank can make, that would limit the risk so much that they, okay, I set up Simon, but I also give you a company that the bank is taking some of that same profit to pay, because I may be able to say if the bank is losing on average of a year 70%, we could make them lose probably 40%.
So the bank is an investor or lender in this case? Because
the bank is
you have moved it to a different
No, that's
money.
not true. That's risk management.
That's
risk management.
Somebody said one at a time.
That's risk management.
Actually said
Risk management.
trust and loyalty are major issues between black people. We have seen many black businesses started in partnership, but as soon as the one partner sees the profits, the strength and the amount of money made, someone resigns and start his or her own business. This happens a lot even in churches, hence why so many splits.
Right. The next point here is by John Denny. We need to teach our people to prepare a proper business proposal before asking for loans. I can agree with that too. But the necessary guidance is important, the framework. Going back to what Safi said and you said, Mrs. Stewart, there needs to be the necessary framework to take, like, cause you know we talk about moving your business from idea to actually a product or to realize it. But there are a lot of steps, because we tend to think sometimes, even as small business persons, that all I need is money. All right, I get $20,000, I get $10,000, good, I get a business loan. But after that, now you need to be partnered with the right persons, the marketing consultants. You need to be partnered with the research and development person, right? So all those things.
And that's a money can attest to is one of my strength and success in business. Because when I sit at a table and I count the years, well, I probably may not get over.
How long have you been in business? Something else?
Over 10 years.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean that I'm an expert. But what I'm just saying, when I sit at this table, probably we're past 100 years total, right? You might be with yourself, right? But regardless, but what I'm just saying is, when I sit at a table and I count in 480 years. that 480 years of knowledge being poured into me about business and whatnot, and a lot of people is not privy to that.
True.
You understand? I may got a financial advisor here, may got this, but when it add up to years, it's well from not. And I think we need to be able to bring our people to knowledge and to that. That's why I say an agency set up for them will help them.
So the challenge might be a bit beyond just Barbados, and I'm saying that to say that, and I took the point of we need to train our people on becoming more business savvy, especially as I mentioned on the commercial end just now. And I'll say why I say that. We are coming from a history where this region was highly focused on commodities. We're coming from an era where this region was focused on commodities. Everything in this region was commodity oriented. You produce the bulk and whatever, whether it be sugar, rum, bauxite, all the things in this whole region. Yeah. And you ship them, and it's being and the final products and the value added products are being created elsewhere. So it's a big shift. Okay. Right? In thinking, a big shift in education, and we need to educate the younger generation in that way, that they become more, they have the ability to assess ideas and to move ideas from simple seeds into fledgling businesses.
Correct.
Kerry Jordan made a comment here, Glenn. Tell me what you think about it. Guys, please look at the Jamaica Stock Exchange and what they've managed to do. How does that fund local development and create wealth amongst local investors?
But we were going to do more than related to Jamaica Stock. I'm on it, but we have to do a little bit more digging because
but I take the point. I mean, the little that I know of the Jamaican Stock Exchange is that it does support some of these startups and so on, like Safi, you alluded to the whole
there's a number
of coffee and all these.
There's a long list of companies on here.
Brands,
There's only got about 7?
Yes.
So and that is why I say that we need to move business. I think there's a lot of business investor ready.
Because the Jamaicans are very indigenous minded.
But another thing is that you see, you know what, when we were speaking, you guys are speaking continuously about the banks, right? And we forget that there's a Barbies Stock Exchange where if these small companies are able to be listed on that stock exchange, they can offer shares to the general public.
But to be listed, you need to have a certain amount of systems. You need to have a lot of you need to demonstrate what is the business. You need to demonstrate the opportunities that the business are targeting. You need to understand the target market. You need to have a growth strategy. You have to have all these things in place.
10-year plan, 20-year plan.
Because nobody's going to come and put any money there without that clarity.
So yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that we really need to look at.
Anthony Smalley got the rating bank. I unfortunately don't work in commercial banking anymore, brother.
Anthony was asking for small loan. So just to see final comments here. Excellent point. Jamaica Stock Exchange be performing very well. John Denny, there is a bigger step to get shares listed on exchange. Kerry Jordan said precisely.
But here is we have a black man asking another black man for a loan. A black man that can afford the loans. And he is basically telling the gentleman to go to the bank.
But I told you not how much.
No, so
yes, plenty.
No, but that is where sometimes I think we fall down a bit as well. In that I may not have the money. To give you, but I may be able to direct you to 4 other roads or trails which you can go down with a proper paperwork to pursue the acquisition of the capital.
But I have a question to Mrs. Stewart with regards to, I see a point here from Shauna Rollins. She's saying, is a collaborative approach for manufacturing to take off in Barbados? Or you may need a collaborative approach?
It can work in my view, even though I've heard some of the comments, I think it can work. Where people usually fall down a lot in my view is they don't set up proper frameworks before they go into them.
Okay.
They say we don't come together and do things, but there is no clean and clear framework as to how this thing
and that is
work.
what I've been preaching on the show. If you do not, there's a lot of people that do not listen. After growing a business and growing an organization to the level that it is growing on, I'm not by any means blowing my own trumpet, but just showing some examples here. If you do not have structure, If you do not have the wherewithal and everything that Dr. Cummings was talking about, or the education to do it, and I'm not talking about education as in a systematic education, but educating yourself, you are easily going to fail, and you're going to fail miserably. And money is not the solution. Money is not just because you have 20,000.
It's a tool. It's a
if you
tool.
give me 20,000 more, I can get
Doesn't mean
something.
you can no.
In order for us to be, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people that do not have the base. They're
Acumen.
eager to be entrepreneur, but they don't have what it takes to be able to get it, having all that they need to. They may not be able to pay for all of these things, to be able to go and pay a lawyer, go and pay this person or that. But if the company that you're talking about setting up, because set up in itself that it manages these portfolios and manages these people in the sense that they're taking an advisory share or they're looking at profit along the way, so you don't have to worry about paying. You can help grow businesses faster because they know if you don't need my accountant, go hire, and you can hire one go long. If you don't need my business exec, and you can hire one go long.
True.
And so on and so forth, and you build businesses like that.
Coming out to this, you've actually just given me a great business idea.
Well, good then.
You can invest. You can invest in it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, one caution I was going to throw on the table is that, yes, the advisory services are critical in the Barbadian context because remember we're focusing on high value products. We're focusing on products here that they don't necessarily, they're not cheap to produce. They take a lot of effort and cash to produce some of these products, right? So you really need that advisory capacity to make sure that the person is aligning the cost of production correctly.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, they are pricing the products and that they produce and so on correctly, so that when they hit the market, they know exactly who in the market can afford those products, and that it is packaged in a way that allows the person to move beyond admiring it on the shelf and picking it up. But you need to have those skills, and I'm saying that our people are not necessarily trained.
Would you consider yourself an expert in this area?
I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I probably have great knowledge from my years of working in the domain. But I don't necessarily see myself as, I don't know if I would ever see myself as an expert. It's hard for me to see myself in that role.
And my final question to you, Glenn, before
Sorry, Danny saying that we
wrap
keep
up.
mentioning blacks are not Asian. But you understand? Let's mention Asians.
Right. Well, I'm speaking of black people. I am not talking about the other
Black
minorities.
Asians.
I don't black Asians.
Right.
Fair enough.
Big murder.
So I respect, you know.
So, right, my final question to you, Glenn, before we wrap up. What, based on your knowledge and your research in the manufacturing industry, what are the areas that you would suggest that we can make profitable, that we can go forward with in the future in terms of manufacturing these?
So I've seen opportunity in both the small and large enterprises.
Right.
Both.
So I
And
want to be specific.
Right, so
in
I'm going
terms of what
to be
areas.
more specific. So let me deal with the large ones first.
Go ahead.
In terms of the large manufacturers that bring in most of the money in the manufacturing earning in the bucket as we currently call it, the opportunities exist for us, for example, to transition more of our bulk commodities like rum and so on, more into value add. So 50% right now is bulk, or just over 50% is bulk, and 50% is value add in bottles. We need to move away from the bulk into more products in bottles. That's one, right? Sugar. I'm talking about the big players first. Sugar. We still are battling with this discussion around how to make money off of sugar. It's still a big debate. Nobody wants to have that discussion because people have been trying and they're failing and it's not working, right?
The problem is that you got too many honey people can't sell it, so you don't know shit.
No, the thing is, it's about moving discussions into action. I think that's where there's a big deficit. There's a big deficit.
So where you would say we should
People
go
not
with
action
sugar?
oriented. So my view on sugar is very simple. My years of working in manufacturing has imprinted a very bad picture in my head.
Right.
With respect to sugar, I have seen people. You know what is a 1 ton sack? A 1 ton bag? A big bag. Huge big white bag.
Yeah.
I've seen manufacturers in this region import 500 of those bags into economies to produce beverages. You know why? Because the argument is we need white sugar because we can't obscure the products. Because there are products that are transparent. You don't want, if you use brown sugar, the color will change. There's all these discussions.
But don't we export our sugar to then make
We
the
do.
same granulated
We
sugar,
do.
which is then sold back to us.
We do. That's why I
So
started
what
out.
can we do granulated
Hold
sugar
on. I
here?
started out by saying that we need to move from commodities
That's right.
to more value-added products, and I'm making the same point as it relates to the sugar sector. And I'm not speaking Barbados here. I'm speaking regional.
Mhm.
The regional sugar sector can transform, in my view, by simply using policies and regulations, meaning that all of the white sugar that being bought into the region,
Mhm.
I believe that it should be stopped, and you can do that on the basis of tariffs and so on. And our manufacturers need to be. Remember, I said innovation. They need to become more innovative. How do we produce our beverages in the Caribbean, in the region, using the brown sugar, using what we have?
Yeah.
I grew up in a family where we always come to that point where we say, this is what we have, and this is what we're going to use. So why don't we when it comes to sugar?
Agreed.
I can take your point here.
Right?
So,
But it can't buy the point. We don't like ourselves out.
Now for the smaller sector,
Correct.
for the smaller enterprises,
So you still are, yeah, good medium.
collaboration. Well, for the medium ones,
Small and medium
the
is that
medium,
kind of
yeah, the
one,
small and
yeah.
medium would benefit from the same kinds of suggestions. So for the small ones, we talked about collaborations.
Collaboration.
We talked about going to university as an incubator to help them and so on.
Somebody can't actually.
And I'm saying that those are the kinds of things that they need to do. They need to look at working together with each other, looking at building supply chains where they give each other different products. For example, you may be producing something that I can put into my operation as small players, and we need to form that synergy.
Yeah, but you
Vertical integration to horizontal
you
integration. and so
mentioned
on.
rum. You mentioned
Sugar as two of the big ones.
Sorry, rum here?
What are the
Cool.
other? What are the other?
Beverages, you have Coke. You have the beverage companies producing. So I mentioned rum, sugar, beverages, which we
You got
use like
Coke here
beer and
and syrups and all kind of stuff.
right, all the syrups and so on.
You got Coke here already.
And any other areas though?
For the smaller players, I say integration, looking at innovation,
Yeah,
diversity of
but
products.
what products? I'm trying to get at the product.
You need specific brands.
Yeah,
As I said when I first came in here, I
not
purposely-
necessarily a brand.
But
I'm
several
saying-
products.
the item
Right,
itself.
so
you mentioned
diversity.
you mentioned
So I talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
the opportunities
pharmaceuticals.
with disinfectants. And the other thing too would be with post-COVID would be things like products that are very health oriented and so on. Looking at the aligning products from agriculture, agro processed products that have health
Somebody talk
benefits.
about biogas.
Biogas?
Biogas, I know this place in culinary are being imported made from the byproducts of sugar.
Sorry, could you repeat that? What is it like bagasse? What is the thing like bagasse? Okay, well, bagasse has been traditionally used in the sugar industry
For
around
fuel.
the region as fuel.
Fuel.
To drive the factories and to produce electricity and so on, right? And that still obtains today, right? I think in terms of any further opportunities out of bagasse, it would more than likely be. You see, the volume of bagasse you can generate is tied to the volume of the amount of sugarcane you plant
Okay.
and the amount of sugarcane you process. So, in order to see bagasse as a viable long-term opportunity and so on, you have to plant more sugarcane.
What about if we talk about manufacturing here? What about solar panels?
Yes.
I know we do solar panels.
Chinese got that market.
So
local
energy.
level.
So you're going to the opportunity
Renewable
presented by energy
Yeah.
to bring down our energy costs, right? And solar and renewables, if you were then. I put them all in one bucket, whether it be solar or wind, whatever. All renewables are a huge opportunity for Barbadian manufacturers. On not necessarily only on the price per kilowatt hour electricity, but also in terms of Barbados supporting the Sustainable Development Goals. And using that as a marketing tool. As brands, as a company, you can market that.
It said
That your products are produced using renewable energy.
the major issue and costs associated with solar energy was the batteries.
But no, be careful. There are different concepts of solar energy. You don't have to have a battery system to have solar energy. That's the first point. You can have.
I use that as storage.
But you can sell. No, Barbados is where you can sell to the grid. You don't have to necessarily consume.
I have a major issue with selling to the grid.
Why?
How much do you really make from selling to the grid? Okay, listen, this is the only company that I know that does tell me how much they want to give me for my product.
Well, before you go any further,
Because like I selling phones,
hold on,
and you want my
hold on,
phone, and you can tell me that you want to pay $50 for my phone. I know if my phone value $200.
Before you go any
I have a
further,
major issue with
hold
that.
on, before you go any further, let me declare that I am a commissioner at the Fair Trading Commission, and this discussion is one that I would have to recuse
But Jeremy, you're
myself
blessing
from.
on him.
No problem. Let me address that quickly to say that I have done, and I've also seen analysis, comparative analysis, and cost-benefit analysis that examine the cost of solar systems and panels relative to the earnings you get from utilizing them, right? So I'm saying I've seen, and that is why, for example, you have such a rush, if you were, towards.
But the return is so long term, because I mean, I brought in my building here, looked at for solar, probably take over $70,000 just to put solar on this building, but the returns is like in the next five.
You will make that money back in 5 years. But think about this.
It's worth it.
But 5 years is 5 years of for return on investment like that is value.
It's very good.
But I mean, but it's one of them,
I've
made
seen
back the
3
return,
in 5.
it doesn't necessarily mean it will make back the $70,000.
Yeah, but what you have to analyze.
I would start to make back
Yeah, but
within
what-
5 years.
No, but what you have to usually analyze is if take the $70,000 and you have to always ask the question, what are your comparatives? What else can you do with $70,000 that will yield you a better return than that one? And that's all.
Invest in Germany.
That is all the discussion
One
is.
question though, which is more profitable? Storing your game batteries and storing your electricity, or selling it to the grid for whatever money they want?
My current analysis suggests that it is better at this stage to sell to the grid. And I'll tell you why.
Any information regarding how much do you get for electricity?
Yeah. This is common knowledge.
How much is it?
I don't have it at hand, but I can look for it for you and I can share it. But it's lower. It's slightly lower. It's slightly lower than what you would pay per kilowatt hour. It's slightly under what you would pay per kilowatt hour, right? But the point I was making is, it is still, and that's why you see so much attraction of people going towards it, because it makes economic sense, right? It makes economic sense, right? Now, energy is a big area that I know a lot of people who want to, and people who are in manufacturing, they see it as a big hurdle, right? And solar has
also because of the amount of tax that the previous administration would have imposed on the industry, that saw a lot of people leaving it.
And the current administration maintain taxes.
You mean the manufacturing sector?
Yeah, for the solar.
For solar?
Yeah, because I realized that, I know, like, remember, like, sounded like 100 business started just solar. And then because of the solar.
And the current administration maintains taxes.
So one
They gotta be fair.
So one just
I asked for
mentioned.
being fair.
So one just mentioned that is actually 41 cents per kilowatt.
Right, per kilowatt hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. But the point I'm making is that when you crunch that 41 cents per kilowatt hour against the investment, the capital investment, and so on, it still makes sense to do it, right? It still makes sense to do it, and that is what I am seeing. Why people are still going towards it.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have done analysis, and they still think that it makes sense to move. Not purely on an economic basis, but also not purely economics, but also you benefit from. Remember, Barbados has an objective of meeting the sustainable development goals by 2030. So it is contributing to that as well.
Yeah.
There was a question here about who am I supposed to be listening to be cross-talking. You can reiterate that this is
the discussion.
This isn't normal because you got a table up fancy. You know you come here and sit down and you moderate whatever.
Especially since the man is talk over everybody. That's the kind of
Germany.
No sweat. Lies.
Yeah, I think that was built on the character. We try not to do it too much. We try not to do it too much.
But it helps the show.
It helps the show. So yeah, that's good. You know, and we did get compliments on Miss Stuart being here and the whole informative the show was. And we want to wind down now to for the show. Thank God there's no curse swimming pools in this. You all need to get past it. But yeah, we try to maintain our little distancing. But the show has been good. We really want to thank Mr. Stuart for being here,
please.
for the informative discussion, enlightening. I thought, when I heard manufacturing, it would have been a boring conversation. I really thought that, you know, but it changed the perspective and it changed my mind, and it actually a lot of ideas came out, and I think that the people watching as well could attest that it was very informative, because again, these are some of the subject matters that we take for granted because we want to hear this and we want to hear that.
Yeah.
So these are educational things that we promised that we would try to bring a guest weekly to have discussion, because you might be tired of hearing me talking a lot. So bringing persons like Mr. Stuart, and hoping to have him back some point again on the show to further discuss a part 2, because I think that this is just a broader approach, right? And hopefully we can at that time something would change.
Then we have to bring the other Mr. Stuart now.
Yeah.
You gotta bring Farndell Stuart. So Farndell, we're asking him to come on the show. The money walks off.
The money get
we want to thank the Mr. Stuart for coming. So we just want to let everyone know that we are here every Tuesday on the show to bring you enlightening discussions with panels every week. And we will be bringing more, so we will ask everybody tune in. We want to thank all of the persons that contributed, Shauna, Mr. Cummings,
Kelly,
Kelly.
there was also
Osula,
right?
Kerry,
Kerry
Kerry,
Cummings, Sean here from the US.
Kerry Turton, Kazia Ford was watching as well with us. Kwame Rams was watching. A lot of
people.
So we want to thank all of you.
So
So again, tune in. We try to do the show for 6, but we were aim for 6:30 at least, because sometimes we have to do some technical checks before we go on. But we really enjoy the conversation today, and we really want to encourage everyone to, you know, be a part of it continuously. Like our page, follow us.
Correct.
See where we are on, share it as much as possible, share the DeBrief TV show page, and we will be back again next week, Tuesday. Yes, we did do a new set with our nice table. I can't tell if it's locally manufactured.
Could be locally assembled.
We do our thing, you know. So we did our piece to make sure that the show has that level of discussion, discussion. If you check the logo, did have a table in it.
Yes, we actually got
and we took the time out. I think we are almost up to about 40 episodes now that we've done in a short time. So we have been going, we have been consistent.
You're doing good.
We just took a time to follow the government protocols.
That's it.
We didn't have a problem with that. So we want to think, so next week again we will have a discussion, check the page to see when and what we will be talking about. Follow us and share it. Anything that we can do. So again, I'm your host, Kimar Safri. You have the man is small, Simon Ali, and Jermaine Beckford, and you also had our guest, Mr. Stuart. So
Osula, there will be order next week. Don't worry about it. We will get it.
They can never be ordered with Jermaine on the show. So let me get that. You all have chaos with Jermaine. We try to bring order, and if you don't believe us, watch back all the episodes. But I think each of us play a very different role.
As long as he was.
So, yeah, each of us have our own role. Jermaine is this controversial story.
Your controversial
objective and the person, but you remind me of my wife when you asked her how her day was, and she wanted to tell you from 9 o'clock. So when they get home,
it's a marathon. She's a marathon.
Even people are known for spices, and German brings spice to the show.
Well, the only spice I know is you want to know Jamaica. She wears sexy, so I don't want to see if you're in a spice.
But more in Jamaica too.
Well, sure. When they're done, but you want to know Jamaica. There you could probably be Bajan seasoning or jerk seasoning or something, so that nobody really these days just so, right? But again, folks, this is all about the show. We all try to keep it fun. We all try to keep it enlightening. And we just want to thank each other and everyone. We encourage you to be safe out there. COVID is still in the midst of us. Very much so.
Wear your mask, sanitize.
I also want to thank the new viewers, because I realized we had a lot of new persons.
Yeah. And the comments today was really good. So we want I think Sean to still keep us going. But we want to thank everybody. I think we really
Mr. Jordan here to Bannister. I haven't seen Osulu before, so thanks for watching.
Thanks so much.
So definitely. So definitely, and we will keep the set intact for you for next week. We try to change up between our sofas now, since that we have a little bit more space to play with. But if you're interested in sponsoring the show, we talk about manufacturing, so that's a good note bring your products. We
Let's
love
talk
to
about
eat. So bring your cassava bread and all of that, and different phones and different things. We got things coming up, cheesecake. Bring it.
Things, let me
Let me talk
sample.
about it. Bring your business card. Let me highlight your business. Let me highlight what's
and
going
share
on.
it on your page.
If you're making any alcoholic beverages, I like to sample a few every now and then.
Anything. So anything that you're
Punches,
doing
punches,
that is in the
wines.
local industry, I think that the show can help. We
Yes.
have been having a lot of viewership.
Lots of you.
We are seeing the numbers increase. So if you have your products, please go on the page and message us. Message my page personally or any of the guys' page personally, but it's by our name. We don't think anybody here got any fancy name.
No.
Jermaine ZLMA.
Yeah, or you could also message your on Facebook, Mr.
Glen
Stuart.
Stuart?
No, I'm not.
Okay, he has no social media
No
footprint.
presence. There's no presence.
So that's okay, but
That's
message
good.
us, message the show, and if you have products, we will leave it on our table. As you see,
No,
sometimes
it's
the
in
show
there.
does be here. The only boy that brings something to advertise up in here is the money and this silver red glass. So we need your water, we need your juice, we need, and we will put it for the cameras to see it.
Correct.
And we will
we
say
talk about the
drink
product.
and eat, and we
talk
talk about the product for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And there's no
remains on
cost. There's
table
no cost to
to
you
you.
for at all. We just want to help push the local manufacturing
Yes.
and what you're
Give them-
doing,
yeah, give
what
them
your
the
products is, what your services are, and bring it to us before
If you
Tuesday.
got beard oils and things,
All this
everything
other
so.
stuff like that, you know. If you got some ginseng,
Yeah. Or you got coffee.
anything. But we want to thank you very much for tuning in. Again, next week Tuesday, 6:30 for the DeBrief TV show. We want to thank all the viewers.
Thank
We want
you.
to say have a good night. Stay safe, stay blessed. Until next time. God bless.